Hey everyone, welcome to the My Scaling YouTube channel. My name is Eddie Wang, and this video has been a request. And you people are asking how we use Zen, how we cancel it, what are the options and stuff like that. But the thing is, this is a very different Zen from Tekken 7. There are aspects of it that I like, and there are aspects of it that I don't like. And I think we are all in the same boat about this. The majority of gym players don't like this Zen, and I also don't like overall. I don't use as much, but there are aspects of it that I like, but most of it, there is quite a few things about it that I don't like as well. But let's explain you what is CDS and what is Zen for Jin. CDS is a defensive stance. It crashes on frame 5. So if someone is trying to attack you when you are at +3, for example, when you do a CDS, you are going to crash it on a frame 5. For example, let's say right here, right here. That's a launch, because jabs only come out 10 frames, right? So since I am at -4, the opponent jabs are going to connect on the 10th. My character is going to recover when they are on the 6th, on the frame 6, right? When is on frame 4th, when there is 6 frames available to hit my Jin, I can CDS through, and before the active frame starts, Jin can CDS through it. Can he Zen as well? No, but he can CDS, right? That is the main design of it. You can also do this, but it's much slower, as you guys can see. Or that's nice damage actually. Well, but this is the point, right? But what you can't do as well is to cancel into an electric. If you try to break in step after, the breaking step doesn't, it comes much slower than canceling into an electric, right? It's one of the reasons why it's so bad. But that is the main purpose of CDS. It's a defensive stance. Let's say you are in a fight and your opponent is running away from you, and you want to cover some distance. Usually gym players dash into 4-4, but you can also Zen, and Zen covers distance because you have Arbor here, right? The options from CDS are all the same. That's all the same, right? They are all the same, right? And while you can do this, the most important thing is that you know your roles. This is for defense, this is for offense. The options are all the same. But if your opponent is running away from you, you don't want to use CDS, you want to use Zen. And Zen is an offensive stance. That's because this covers range, and you get to use your offense with, especially because of Albert Hill. So if your opponent is trying to play that footsie game with you by whiffing things on screen when you are entering stances, then this is going to become one hell of a nightmare, because now you have this, right? You have this, and you have this, right? You have this, you have this, you have this, you have this. So these options, some of this cannot be ducked, because if the opponent tries to duck it after you enter, then you have this to catch them trying to duck this. And this one does quite a lot of chip. I'm going to set this to guard all, so you guys can have an idea. See that? it does far more shape than the electric does. For example, that's 2 electrics. That's 1 Zen 3 plus 4. That's 1 4 4 through. That's 1 Zen 3 plus 4. That's 1 ECD 1. That's 1 Zen 3 plus 4. So this option is deadly. On neutral, this is actually a thing. That's 1 dive hit. This does a lot of damage. It's crazy. Well, so you know the differences between both, right? But while this is the aspect of CDS and Zen that I like, but let me show you what I don't like. It's the cancel. The cancel looks good on paper. The cancel looks good on paper, but there is a massive problem with the cancels. And let me just put this to what off for now. There is a massive problem with the cancel. So if I do a forward 4, it's -8, right? And forward 4 is the main tool that Jin is going to use to cancel Zen. That's because it's the move he transitions to it. He also has this, but this is -9 with Zen, which is bad. He also has back 3. With Zen is -2. Is the second best one because you can cancel into a throw, or you can just enter Zen and launch, right? Or you can just do it and back dash it, whatever. But for forward 4, it's -1, a whooping -1, and from back forward 3 2, it's +2 actually, +2 on block. And why is it that these 3 are the best one overall, and the other ones do suck? There is also this one, which is +4. This one is great as well, but the second hit is duckable, right? Because it's a high string, and the forward 4 part of it, it's more complicated than that. And that's because when you do a forward 4 into Zen, you are at -1, and when you cancel it, the cancel looks instantaneously as it is, and is very difficult to get. And from every single test that I did, even with macro buttons with Jin, the cancel cannot block 10 frame jabs, 12 frame mids, 11 frame jabs, nothing of that. He only great it the first frame where he is able to guard, it's only against -13 frame moves. For example, if I set Jin to do a 10 frame jab after, if I set Jin to do a 10 frame jab after he blocks the forward 4, like something like this, he will always going to get hit. It doesn't matter what. He will always going to get hit. He cannot block if you jab him out of Zen. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So you're gonna have to stay in Zen in order to launch, which not many people do that, because they say the easiest way to avoid it is by checking with a 13 frame move, right? Jin also has the Albert Hill to beat some jabs. I haven't tested against every single jab in the game, but it seems like Jin's jab that didn't whiff back then is whiffing now, right? He's hitting now. So it's weird. It's definitely weird. So this option isn't really reliable at all. But let's say that I do have a 12 frame high as well. Let's say usually they put everything in here. Where is it? Back 1 2. There is no back 1 2 here. There is no back 1 2 here, and it's one of his main punishes. There it goes. So let's see with back 1-2 if Jin can also guard it, right? Nope, he can. He cannot guard this. So he has to CDS and do some saras in order to avoid it. Now, if by any chance they decide to check Jin with a mid attack, right? Because mids are 13 frame fast, but we know that there are characters with 12 frame mids, so Jin cannot avoid this no matter what. And in this instance, only in this instance, is when Jin is able to block from CDS or from Zen after canceling. But you're still gonna have to do a perfect cancel. There it goes. Only on perfect cancel you will be able to block this. If you are 1 frame slower, GG. You can also option select this, but it won't do any good. It won't do you any good. And with this nerf of canceling with up, it came up a lot of different things. For example, you can no longer do this cancel into a 4-4-3. Used to be faster, right? But now it sucks. That's because Namco doesn't want you to do this. They want you to try mix up mid, try this, but it's punishable. Okay, you are safe. Low, go for the reactable health sweep, right? And that is how they designed this mix up to be. And if you check him, you only get to cancel and block if they are frame perfect. But then again, as I say, there are also things that I like about this Zen. So let me show you something interesting. Before, a lot of people used to say that they can react to the Zen stance. But the thing is, if you are 1 frame slow reacting to the Zen stance, then Jin can cancel into this, into a sidestep, into a lot of things, right? He can cancel into parry and parry the down forward 1. But one thing is, if you do a 4-4 and people react with this jab, with a down forward 1, you will immediately know that they are not reacting to it. That is probably the most positive thing that came out with this training mode, is that if people do a down forward 1 in order to beat Zen, and you don't do Zen, and you see them doing a down forward 1 after, it means they are not reacting to it. You can whiff punish all the time. If you catch someone doing that and you hit them with this, stuff like this, they cannot react to Zen. So you're gonna spam 4-4 until they become afraid of it. And when they become afraid of it, there is one option that I hate about Tekken 7 training mode, is that you cannot delay the punishes for 4 frames. For example, the frequency here, it says 1, right? If I say this to 2, it doesn't become any slower. It's still going to be fast as well, right? But the thing is, if I set the character to, for example, let's put another punishment here, and I'm going to be 1 frame slower to do a down forward 1. Like this, right? Now I'm going to set them to see what happens. See that? Now he was slow, so Jin gets to grab him, right? But if he is fast, he's going to interrupt you anyway. But if he's slow, he won't be able to do it. See that? So you can play around. See that? You can do this. He was slow. See that? He was slow. He was fast. He was fast. He was fast again. See that? I didn't even notice the frame data. Let me try this again. Of course, that is going to be option selected, and that's -7. That's -7. So that guarantees at least a free throw attempt, right? Or as a back kick. It's very difficult to do, but it's definitely possible. But it's very difficult to do that. It's super difficult to do that. I know Nova Seiken posted a video before on Zen that you could block at 10 frames, but no, not on release version. On release version, this is not blockable. If they do a 10 frame jab, an 11 frame jab, an 11 frame high or mid, something that is high or mid that is 10 to 11 or to 12, you are going to get hit trying to cancel out of Zen. This is how it always was, but the cancel is much slower now, because on immediate down forward one, you could cancel into a parry. But now it takes 2 more frames to cancel the Zen, and it's very difficult to do. But the way to do it, the way to do this is by, after you do a down forward, after you have to press up back immediately and go to neutral. If you do this very often, it's going to look something like this. That is how it's going to look. And also, before I forget, set this to punish, set this to 0, set this to high. The breaking step doesn't break jabs, right? See that? The breaking step doesn't break jabs. What breaks is the Zen stance. So you can do this. And it's even slower. It's bad. The breaking step on its own doesn't break jabs. It's why CDS is superior here, right? Because CDS, you can do this. With CDS, you can do this. See that? That's strong as hell. And that's CDS. That's CDS. You can also do it from Zen as an offensive way. But the thing is, CDS is very superior to Zen in this game. I believe before Tekken 8, Zen used to be superior, but now CDS is much stronger. That's because, of course, Samsara and the throw. These options from CDS are much stronger. They are very relevant from CDS. This one, and this one are very strong from CDS. As for Zen, Zen is much weaker in this game. See that? The breaking step doesn't break jabs, so you're gonna have to let the stance go, and if they press a button, GG's. But indeed, the options out of CDS and Zen are much better in this game. I still think Albert Hill is still suitable for Zen more than CDS, and this leaping sidekick as well. And of course you can also do this from CDS or from Zen, which is much easier sometimes than doing a triple run, right? Very good. But overall, CDS is definitely better in this game compared to Zen. Not on top of, you can still cancel this with a dash, right? You can still you can still how cancel it. But the Zen on its own is bad. The Zen is bad. The Zen is terrible. But it still exists in the game. I just hoped that for at least since it's so difficult to cancel, right? It should be able to at least block jabs when you cancel it and sidestep everything else. Sidestep everything else would be great. But I understand why people hate this change, and it is what it is, right? This is how Jin plays in this game. I like this Jin quite a lot. I like the changes that they made. I like that this is now a snake edge out of stance, no longer gives off. If you are crouching, if they are trying to read it, you can just launch it anyway. But most of the time, since I avoid a lot of things by ducking, I can just do this, and it works well. And just a reminder, this snake edge is much faster than Jin's Omen Hell Sweep by 1 frame. But it's true, yeah. But well, see you guys on the next video.